And we're going to begin our practice just in a comfortable seated position. So once you've got your bits and bobs, just start to make your way down. You could cross the legs, you could lengthen them out in front or sit on the heels. Just decide what feels best in your body today. Hands either resting down on the thighs, palms down if you feel as though you need a little bit of grounding this morning. It's quite a high energy time of year, so sometimes we can even wake up and feel quite hyper, quite high energy. Or if it's the other way around and you need to draw in a sense of energy from our practice today, then have the palms facing up. Eyes closed. Breath flowing very naturally in and out through the nose. And just start to do that little self-inventory. Scan through the physical body from the crown of the head down toward the toes. And just check in on each space of the body. Notice if your focus is drawn into a space of tightness, tension. Perhaps everything's feeling quite open this morning. How clear is the mind? Is there a fogginess to the mind? Is there lots of thoughts running through at high pace? And how is it to breathe? Does it feel natural? Does it feel deep already, or is there a shallow rise and fall of the heart space? When you're ready, allow your breath to deepen. Draw your inhales down into your belly and across your ribs. And exhale fully. Draw belly button back to spine. Feel everything contracting, softening towards center line. So moving into a diaphragmatic breath, a deep yogic breath. Maybe you're bringing a restriction into the back of the throat, switching on your ujjayi breath, your sound breath. Listening into that sound, allowing your breath to be the soundtrack of your practice. We've been talking a lot this week about the theme of control, what we can and can't control on our yoga mat, what we can and can't control off our yoga mat. And this morning I wanted to take it one step further, inspired by the yogic niyama, niyamas being almost like yogic ethical guidelines. And this final niyama is about surrendering to the divine. So whether you believe in like a universal power, God, whatever it might be, it's that same concept that although we are a small part, we are still an important part of a larger picture, of a rich tapestry. And although it feels like we're not always captaining the boat of our life, we are steering it and we are able to choose the route, but we just can't change the weather. We can't change some of the circumstances that we're thrown into. Global pandemic perhaps being one of those things. But we can control our actions, our reactions. We can control the state of our mind if we so choose to. We can control our tapas, what we explored yesterday, our motivation, that drive that we have to move towards a challenge rather than run away from it. So just keeping this in mind today as we start to explore our bodies, explore our practice a little bit further. So keeping the breath moving nice and deeply through the body. Let's just start with a little neck release. So big inhale in. Exhale, right ear, right shoulder, relax the neck, let the head hang heavy. Start to stretch your left hand down toward the floor. Spread the hand wide, maybe roll the left shoulder back slightly. Feel that deep opening through left side neck. And then taking the right hand up onto the side of your head, if that feels okay for you this morning. Resist the urge to pull or yank the head to one side. Just let the weight of the head traction out the side neck. Maybe you're creeping the fingertips toward the base of the skull and turning your chin down toward the right armpit. Noticing how that subtle movement changes the feel of the stretch completely. Unclench your jaw. Good. Gently release right hand down. Draw the chin to the center of your chest and left ear to left shoulder. So let the head go. Let the weight of the head hang toward the left side. Maybe you're reaching through the right palm, pressing it down in the direction of the floor. Rolling right shoulder back to open up the side neck a little bit further. Remember, you can bring your left hand onto the side of the head this time, if that feels good for you. And take a few breaths there. Allow the side neck to traction out. Make sure that you're not wrinkling through the forehead or maybe clenching the teeth together here. Soften in those spaces. If you did on the first side, walk fingertips around to the base of the skull, turn the chin down toward the left armpit. Take a moment there just to open up into the back of your neck. Good, and then release. Bring the hands onto your thighs, chin to center of chest. Slowly, gently bring the head all the way back up. Let's just move through a few seated cat-cows to warm up the spine. So when you're ready, inhale, roll the shoulders back and together. The heart space moves forwards, look up toward the ceiling. And then exhale, round. Draw belly button back to spine, arch through the back body. Now keep that going. Inhale, open the chest, shoulders draw back and together, look up. Exhale, make a C shape with the spine, draw belly button in. Couple more times, inhale, lift. And exhale, round. Keep the eyes closed as you move through the last couple here. Just do so in time with your own personal breath. No rush. Good, and after your last exhalation, just coming back up to your neutral spine, midway between cat and cow. And let's take our wrist and forearm warm up this morning. So I'd like you to take your hands out in front of you, palms facing down toward the floor, and open and close the hands as quickly as you can. My hands always start to move at a different speed after a while, but I want you to see if you can maintain both opening and closing at the same time. So we're here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Arms up overhead. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out to the side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out in front. Now open the palms, turn them to face the ceiling this time, and keep going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Up in the air. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out to the side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Give it a shake out. Let go of any little cramps that you've got going on in your forearms. If you're sat on anything, move it over to one side for the time being. Make your way onto your hands and your knees. Just continuing our wrist warm up. So I'd like you to spread the hands nice and wide under the shoulders. Have the fingertips pointing in the direction of the outer edges of the mat, and just gently, gently sway yourself from left to right. So the palm of the hand is completely flat down to the floor, trying not to lift the heel of the hand away as you move. And again here, feel free to move in time with your breath. So as you inhale, maybe you travel one way, exhale, back in the opposite direction. Okay, come back to stillness at the center. Keep spiraling the fingertips round. Maybe they're pointing straight back to the knees. If your natural rotation means that they're still pointing out to the side slightly, that's also absolutely fine. And just start to take some rocks backwards and forwards now. So remember, we're not looking for any acute pain or stinging in the wrists. We want to keep the hands down, and we're just moving into a space we feel a nice opening for the wrists and the forearms. So being really careful here. Again, moving with breath. Remember that Ujjayi breath. Remember your soundtrack, your oceanic sound. On your next exhale, sit the bottom as far back to the heels as you comfortably can now. Holding it there. Maybe tuck chin to chest. Well done, and gently release. Excellent work. So spiral the hands back around, just sit back onto the heels for a moment, give the wrists a little shake out, maybe take a few little rotations through the hands if that feels good as well. And once everything's feeling a little bit more neutral, let's come back onto our hands and knees, finding our way into high plank. So last week we looked in detail at wrapping the shoulders. Let's just go through that one more time today, because for me, I think it's been a game changer for my inversions recently. So I want you to take a soft bend into the elbows, hug into the center line like you're holding a beach ball between the elbows. Feel the shoulder blades rounding, the back of the shoulders rounding up to the sky, shoulders wrapping around, spread the fingers nice and wide. And now from here, tuck under the toes, come all the way up and back into downward facing dog. So you can feel that engagement in the upper arms, hopefully. Relax the neck. Maybe you're taking a little pedal out through the feet. There's one at a time. Reaching the heel down to the floor. Opening up the hamstrings. Waking up the calves. And then eventually finding your way into stillness. Take the gaze back towards your feet. Make sure that the feet are planted hip distance apart. Spread the toes. And then on your inhale, I'd like you to ripple forwards into your high plank. So keep that softness to the elbows, keep that wrapping through the shoulders, draw belly button in towards spine. Now as you exhale, soften the knees, keep them hovering away from the floor as you press the chest back through toward the thighs, downward facing. Good, so keep that wrapping in the shoulders as you inhale, move forwards into your plank. Exhale, soften the knees, hover them away from the floor, pressing your butt all the way up and back, downward facing. One more time, inhale, come forwards. Exhale, soften the knees, belly button to spine, press the chest back toward the thighs, finding downward facing dog. Good. Okay, let's move through a few vinyasas this time. So inhale, come forwards into high plank. Half chaturanga to begin, drop the knees. Now we're going to lower halfway down. So squeeze the elbows tight to side ribs. Pause when your chest meets the same height as your elbows. Draw belly button in, shoulders away from the ears. And then come all the way down onto your belly. Good. Inhale, cobra pose, lift up through the heart space. Actively draw the shoulders away from the ears. Remember, we're working with bent elbows here. And then lower the heart space, tuck toes, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out, hopefully feeling a bit of warmth moving into the upper body. Second round, inhale, come forwards, high plank. You can drop the knees, but if you're ready for full chaturanga, rock the shoulders forwards of the line of the wrist, bend the elbows, come halfway down again, pause. Good, well done, mum. Draw the belly in, hold it, and then come all the way down. Good, inhale, cobra, or lift the shins and thighs coming up into upward facing dog. Exhale all the way back, downward facing. Big breaths in, big breaths out. Good job. Final one. Inhale, come forwards, find high plank. Exhale, half or full chaturanga, come down. Inhale to cobra, or coming over the toes, finding upward facing dog, and then exhaling back into downward facing. Can you still hear your breath moving here? Make sure you've still got that restriction in the throat. You're still using your diaphragmatic, deep belly breathing. Now inhale, bend through the knees, look toward the hands, step, hop, or float yourself to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Knees are soft, torso and thighs are connected. Deep breath in. Exhale, draw belly button to spine, slow spinal roll all the way up to stand. As you reach the top, roll the shoulders back, chest is forward, spread the palms wide. Tadasana. Feet step together side by side. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana, bend your knees and lengthen up through the arms. Pause there. Weight moves back into the heels, inner knees and thighs, squeeze to center line. Exhale, forward fold over the legs. Inhale to halfway lift. Chest lifts slightly, maybe hands are on shins if fingertips aren't comfortably to the floor. Now as you exhale, plant the palms, step back into your high plank and lower down with control. Half or full chaturanga, you decide. Inhale, cobra, or roll over the toes, upward facing dog, chest forwards. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale to warrior one, right foot forwards. Come all the way up to the top, maintaining that deep bend in the front knee. Exhale, hands touch down to the floor, step back into high plank. Use the length of your exhale to lower, no rushing here. Inhale, heart space opens for your back bend of choice. Exhale, moves you back into downward facing dog. And then inhaling, left foot forwards, warrior one, second side. Lengthen up through the fingertips. Outer right hip draws forwards. Exhale, hands to floor, step back, high plank. Start to lower yourself down slowly. Inhale, heart space opens, cobra or upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Connecting with your bandha, switching on your pelvic floor muscles, squeezing in here. Always really nice in our downward facing dog to explore our Uddiyana Bandha, our abdominal lock, because we naturally get that kind of hollowing of the belly, that kind of greyhound look here. Chin tucks to chest to complete Maha Bandha, switching on Jalandhara Bandha, throat lock. Inhale, soften knees, look ahead, step, hop or float to the top of your mat, halfway lift as you arrive. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Utkatasana, bend the knees, sweep the arms up alongside the ears, straight back down on the exhale, forward fold. Now this time, stepping, hopping or floating back through your vinyasa. So take it at your own speed. From your downward facing dog, right foot steps forwards for warrior one. Reach up through the arms. Now on the exhale, hands come down, you step back to high plank and lower all the way down. Inhale, heart space forwards. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, left foot forwards, warrior one, reach up. Exhale, hands to floor, step back, high plank, full or half chaturanga. Big breath in, open the heart space. Big breath out, downward facing. Close the eyes, turn your internal gaze down to your belly. Feeling that agni, that internal fire switching on. Use it to motivate you today. Ask yourself, is there something else that needs to motivate you too? An intention, a person, a thing, a goal that you have. Good. Inhale, soften knees, look ahead, step hop or float to the top of the mat. Halfway lift as you get there. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Utkatasana. Bend the knees, sweep up through the arms. Now draw in the belly to curl the tailbone under. Big breath in. Exhale, come halfway down. Bring your chest onto your thighs. Making that tabletop shape with the upper back. Imagine you could rest your cup of tea between your shoulder blades without spilling it here. Couple more big breaths. Good, hands down to the floor. Option to move into your crow pose, Bakasana. So hands are a good shoulder distance apart. Come up onto the balls of the feet so the bottom remains high. Remember that wrapping in of the shoulders that we talked about. You're holding your beach ball between the elbows. Take the knees as high up the backs of the upper arms as you can. Maybe they're moving all the way into the armpits. Look forward, so important here. Total game changer. When you look forwards, the distribution of weight comes so much easier. Big breaths. Good, you're either stepping back through your vinyasa or springing the feet back into chaturanga. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Deep breath in through the nose. Deep breath out through the mouth, let it go. Remember, your exhale is always your channel to let go and release. Inhale, right leg lifts up high. Bend your knee to peel your hip open. On your next breath out, draw your right knee to your nose, round forwards. Inhale, right leg to sky, reach up. Exhale, right knee, right elbow, draw forwards. Inhale, right leg to sky, reach up. Exhale, right knee, left elbow, draw forwards. Inhale, right leg to sky. Exhale, right foot between the hands, warrior one. Rise all the way up to the top. Breathe out to warrior two. Ground the back heel, maybe lengthen your stance slightly. Drishti now moves towards the right fingertips as you sink low. Remember that you're externally rotating through this front thigh, so you're pressing into the outer edge of your front foot. Inhale, triangle, straighten the front leg, reach through the right fingertips and revolve your arms all the way around. Maybe the gaze is up toward the top thumb. Keep belly drawing in, think about that Mula Bandha, press the hips forwards into space. Spine moves into one plane. Inhale. Exhale, spiral the top hand down to the floor. Twisted triangle. Now we're stepping the back foot in slightly to get both feet grounded to the mat. All 10 toes point straight ahead. Left hand either to right shin or fingertips to floor on the outer edge of the front foot if you can reach. Take right hand to low back. Inhale and lengthen through your spine. Maybe you're pressing through the left hand to create more space, and then exhale, turn. Option to reach right fingertips up toward the ceiling if that feels good for you this morning. And breathe. This gorgeous twist, massaging out all our internal organs, stimulating our digestive system, but also, if you've got a tight IT band like me, this always feels an absolute dream for releasing that space. One more big breath in. Exhale, spiral the hands either side of your front foot. Now we're going to take a couple of little handstand hops here. So plant the hands nice and wide on the floor, no wider than shoulder distance apart. Wrap the shoulders, get that sensation of wrapping, and then move the weight forwards. Left leg reaches up high. Now, rather than just kind of kicking aimlessly, think about almost trying to lift yourself up into it. So you're pointing up through the top toes, and then you're just gently having a little play. Maybe 3 or 4 kicks. And then when you're ready, step back into your high plank, move through your vinyasa. Always a sense of wiping the slate clean on your vinyasa. Clear the mind. Let go of expectations of the second side. Inhale, left leg reaches up. Bend your knee, open up your hip. Exhale, left knee to nose, round forwards. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, left knee, left elbow, draw forwards, give it a tap if you can. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, left knee, right elbow, cross over the body. Inhale, stretch your left leg up. And exhale, left foot between your hands, warrior one. So stepping all the way up with control. And then exhale to warrior two, opening out. Don't be afraid to change the length of your stance. Gaze moving toward left fingertips as you sink low into the front knee. Inhale, straighten front leg, triangle pose. Reach through left fingertips, revolve the arms. Maybe you're gazing up to the top thumb, but remember you have control here. Do what feels best for your neck. Drinking in that gorgeous opening for the right side body. Good, look down, spiral hands either side of front foot, moving into our pyramid legs. So step the back foot in, all 10 toes point straight ahead, twisted triangle, right hand to left shin, or fingertips to floor on the outer edge of your front foot. Take your left hand onto your low back, feel it nice and neutral, then press the floor or the shin away to lift up through the chest, finding your way into your twist. Inner thighs working to stabilize you here. Feel the inner thighs squeezing into center line. Feel as though you're pressing through the balls of the feet and the heels. One more enormous inhale. Exhale, look down, hands to floor either side of front foot. Again, taking your little handstand hops here. This time it's the right leg that lifts. Plant the palms, wrap through the shoulders. Looking forwards gently, taking your little hops. I always think about kicking my butt with the left heel in this case. Once you've had your hop, step it back into high plank, move through your vinyasa. Arrive back in that deep ujjayi breath. Downward facing. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, let it go. Beautiful. Inhale, right leg high. Bend your knee, open up through the hip. Exhale, right knee to nose, round forwards. Inhale, lengthen through the leg, reach up. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, right knee, left elbow, cross over the body. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, right foot between the hands, warrior two. Bring yourself all the way up to the top. Take your time. Reach out through the fingertips, sink low into the front knee. So exploring our binds again today, starting in side angle. Right forearm to thigh, left arm lengthens up alongside the ear. So just hold it here for a moment. Get the integrity of the posture. So notice that the upper body isn't down here. You want to lift it up and away from the front thigh. You're revolving through the heart space to look up, and now start to take your bind. So left hand comes behind. Option to take the right arm underneath the right thigh. And if you can't grab opposite fingertips here, use your strap. And then see if you can find length through the arms and lift your chest up a little bit higher. Deep ujjayi breaths. Now pressing through the front heel to find bound triangle. Front leg begins to lengthen. It doesn't matter if it's not completely poker straight. Just move to wherever your hamstring feels okay this morning. Good, now look forward, slightly ahead of your right foot.
Is anyone else struggling with intermittent sound on the video?
So walk the back foot in a little way. And then you're going to transfer the weight into your right foot and lift the left toes away from the floor. Take your time. Good, step back. Come back into your bound side angle. Good, okay, let's move through to bird of paradise if you have it. So look forwards, step your left foot alongside your right. Feet are parallel. Take your time, loads of time here. Weight moves into the left foot. Slowly, slowly lift up. Make sure the right toes are active. If you get all the way to the top, option to lengthen out through the right leg. Good, let's come back down. Find our way back into our bound side angle pose. Well done. Gently release the bind, look down, hands either side of front foot. Now lower the back knee down to the floor with control. Inhale, lengthen the arms up alongside the ears. Just take a moment here in your low lunge. Catch your breath back. Now left elbow hooks over the right knee to twist. Bring the palms of the hands together, press them together to turn. Now if you want to take the bind here also, you're very welcome. So I always begin just by snuggling this left armpit a little closer to left knee. Right hand comes behind, left hand comes underneath. So you're either looking for the opposite fingertips or you're using your strap between your hands here. Now you can play around with tucking under the back toes, lifting left knee away from the floor. You might even want to play with a bound bird of paradise. So if you have the bind, look forwards. Step your left foot alongside your right. And then you're transferring the weight into the left foot, lifting the right foot away from the floor. Eventually lengthening out through the leg. And then meeting our neighbours back in our twisted lunge, wherever you're at. Bring the hands down to the floor, either side of front foot. Take it back through a vinyasa. Just going to double check everyone's on mute. So nice big breaths. Find your way back into your downward facing dog. Take a couple of resting breaths. Inhale through the nose. Big sigh out through the mouth. Let it go. Well done. Okay, come down onto the knees. Forearms down to the floor. Taking it into dolphin, or maybe you're doing your little pincher kick-ups. Now interlace your hands. Have your elbows quite narrow here, so they'll naturally want to do this anyway. So you want to make sure that you've got good grip on the upper arms. It's always a good way of measuring the distance, and then interlace your fingers. So again, think about wrapping the shoulders like we did last week. You can kind of dump the upper body down, draw the shoulders away from the ears, and then press down through the forearms. Tuck toes under, lift up through the hips like you would for down dog. Walk the toes in. Eventually butt stacks over shoulders here. Look forwards, head is off the floor. Keep wrapping through the upper body. Right leg lifts. Point through the toes. Remember, you can take a couple of little kicks. Good, release the right leg down. Release the hands, come back up into your high plank, and then press back into downward facing dog. Well done. Okay, second side. Inhale, left foot forwards. Warrior two, come all the way up. So sink nice and low into the front knee, drishti toward the left fingertips. Set up the legs, feel that strength through low body. Side angle, left forearm to thigh, right arm alongside the ear. So just get that integrity in the body to start with. Make sure your chest is lifted away from the front thigh. Make sure that you're revolving to face the ceiling. Right hand comes behind you. Using your belt, strap, or if you can, reach for opposite fingertips. And again here, make sure that you're lifting up so you're not closing down that inner left hip. You want to lift up and away. Also make sure that your bind isn't right in between your private parts. You want your bind to be underneath the left leg. Your crotch, that's it. I couldn't think of the right word. Okay, let's start to straighten the front leg. Move into a bound triangle. Leg doesn't have to be totally straight. Nice big breaths. Good. Okay, soften into the front knee once more. Now we're coming into our bound half moon to start with. So look forwards of your left foot. Gently, slowly, just hop that back foot in a little closer. You're transferring the weight into your left leg. So you want to bend in the front knee. That will really help. And then eventually lifting the right toes away from the floor. I'm all over the shop this morning. Okay. Step back into your bound side angle, lift up through the heart space. Now from here, coming into your bird of paradise if you want. So the right foot steps forwards alongside the left. This time the weight is in our right leg. Lifting up through the left. Remember to keep your left toes active. That's such a game changer. And then from there, maybe you're lengthening out the left leg. Tune into your breath. Fixate your drishti, your gaze on one still spot ahead of you. It really, really helps here. Good. Take it back down. Release. Step the right foot behind you. Lower the right knee down. Let's come into our low lunge. Reach up through the arms. Just take a moment or two to catch your breath back. Now when you're ready to twist, right elbow crosses over the left leg. Hands moving into prayer. Twisting, turning through the upper body. If you bound on the first side and you want to here, shuffle the right shoulder down. Left hand comes behind, reaching for opposite fingertips. Nice big breaths. Remember, you can lift the back knee if you'd like to. See a little message in the chat. If you moved into your bound bird of paradise on the first side, you're very welcome to do so here as well. So this time, right foot comes forwards, weight travels into the right foot, lifting up, lengthening out through left leg, falling out, going all the way down. Wherever you're at, hands down to the floor, step back, take your vinyasa. Good, back to downward facing. Gently lower your knees down to the floor. Let's move into our dolphin on the second side. Elbows come all the way down. So interlace the fingers. Take that moment to wrap the shoulders. You can collapse the upper body down for a moment. Slide the shoulders away from the ears and then feel the difference as you press through the forearms. Toes tuck, bottom lifts. Gently walk your toes slightly closer to elbows. Keep pressing the mat away. Left leg reaches up this time, either holding it there or taking a couple of little hops up. And then when you're ready, stepping back down, let's come into child's pose this time. So knees wide, forehead down to floor. If that doesn't feel good in your body this morning, remember you can come into puppy pose. So keep the butt stacking over the knees and walk the hands forwards to keep that pocket of space in the front of the hips. Have a little bit of time just to soften and relax. Can everyone hear me okay? Give me a little thumbs up if you can. Yeah, okay, cool. Alrighty. Excellent work, everyone. Just sit back onto your heels or just find a comfortable seated position for a moment as you catch your breath back. So I thought it might be a nice idea this morning to look at how we start to transition into a flying split and also into a side crow. So when we sometimes in rocket practice, we do the knee to nose, knee to elbow, knee to elbow. So it's like, how do we perhaps start to progress from there into just floating in and out of a little arm balance? Okay, so I'll show you what it looks like first off, and then we'll kind of break it down and have a little play around with it to see if it might be something that we can just start to play around with, moving in and out of during our practice. So what I mean is, if I take my knee to I'm going to take it to my left elbow first. So I'm crossing over the body. So sometimes we come into like a fallen triangle pose, but as we start to work on this wrapping of the upper body, wrapping of the elbows, it could be that we can take the right knee onto the back of the left elbow. My right hip is actually resting on my right elbow now, and then I can start to float the toes away from the floor. And then I can kind of step myself back up into my downward facing. I'm going to come away from the wall slightly here. And if I go to the other side into my flying split, my right knee comes to my right elbow. Watch how I bend the elbows and notice how this elbow comes into the top of this hip. Toes float away. Gaze is forward, stepping back, downward facing. So it's mainly about where you're positioning your body. I'm sure lots of pros do it without leaning their hips on the backs of their elbows, but it's a perfect starting block. It's the perfect little cheat just for getting into the right shape. So again, we're thinking about wrapping the elbows, creating almost this little shelf with our elbows so that we can start to rest our knees and our hips on the back of the upper arms. Okay, so let's just move through that flying split transition to begin with, and then we'll just have a play. Then we'll move on to the other one, and then we'll see if we can just start to flow between them together. I'm going to come this way on so that you can kind of see. So come up into a downward facing dog with me to start. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, I want you to bend into both elbows like you were doing a turbo dog here. So you're kind of hovering the elbows away from the floor, and feel that wrapping inwards, like again, you're squeezing your beach ball between the upper arms. Now keep the elbows bent and just see if you can tap right knee to right elbow here. That's it. Step back into down dog. Keep that bend in the elbows. Take right knee to left elbow, cross over, and then come back to down dog. So that's the kind of shape that you want to make with the arm. Let's do it on the second side. So keep that wrapping through the elbows. They're hovering just a couple of inches away from the floor. Left knee, left elbow, give it a tap. Bring the weight forwards. Now see that you've made the shelf with the upper arms. Come back, downward facing. Keep that bend in the elbows. Left knee, right elbow, come forwards. Keep that shelf there. That's it. And then come all the way back. Okay, well done. Big breath in. Now lift the right leg up this time, point through the toes. Now exhale, right knee, right elbow, create that little shelf. I want you to see if you can take your right knee onto the back of the upper arm, see how high my knee is. And then as my left elbow bends, it moves into the top of my left hip, which allows my back foot to come away from the floor. And then press back. Big inhale, exhale, let it go. Okay, second side, inhale, right leg lifts. Now right knee, left elbow, take it across the body. And as my upper body moves forwards, the elbows remain bent, they create my shelf. Bent, they create my shelf. You're going to take right knee to the back of the left upper arm. And as my elbows bend, I take my right hip onto the back of my right elbow. Feet lift, step back, downward facing. I'll come sideways on to do the other side. Big breath in, big breath out, let it go. Okay, inhale, left leg lifts. Left knee, left elbow. So draw forwards, bend the elbows, create that shelf. See if you can take the left knee onto the back of the upper arm, right elbow comes into the top of the right hip, toes maybe float for a second, step back, downward facing. Inhale, exhale to rest. Inhale, left leg lifts. Now left knee, right elbow, take it across, make your shelf. Left knee to the back of the right upper arm, left hip to the back of your left elbow. Oh, and then come back downward facing. Okay, have a little moment. Just come down into child's pose, forehead to floor. Take a little rotation out through the wrists, let it go. Big breath in through the nose, sigh out through the mouth. So just introducing these little ideas. When you start to become a little bit more explorative and you kind of have an idea of how you might be able to just lift up and move into these postures at some point, it's just good, because if you're doing a self practice, or if you're, I think online classes are good for just having a little play around because you don't feel self-conscious maybe. So just have a little think about that moving of weight. Can you hold it for a second? Can you not? And again, it's using that tapas, that motivation, just to drive you towards your goal. Well done. Gently sit back onto the heels, come up. Take the bottom over to one side now and stretch the legs out in front. So if you're rounding into the low back, please feel free, slide a block or something underneath your seat. And let's draw the right knee in toward the chest. Just coming into heron pose here, I'd like you to take hold of the outer edges of your right foot. Lift your heel away from the floor. Now the leg doesn't have to be dead straight here. Reach through the heel and gently, gently just start to draw your leg slightly closer towards you. Feel that the back is long. Weight is in your sit bones. One more big breath in. Then exhale, take the sole of your right foot to the floor on the outer edge of your left leg. Coming into Ardha Matsyendrasana, right hand comes behind. Inhale, sweep your left arm up, and then see if you can hook the left elbow across the right knee. Now just ensure that the right fingertips are nice and close towards your low back. So as you press down through the back hand, you can lengthen up a bit further. And if you're able to bind here, you're welcome to take it. Otherwise, you're just pausing where you are, breathing nice and deeply. Unwinding through the spine. Breathing in, coming to face the front. Moving either into Janushirshasana or your half lotus. So sole of the right foot either to the inner left thigh, or if you can come into your half lotus position, just snuggle that right foot up into the left hip crease. Inhale, reach up through the arms, and exhale, forward fold. And reaching in the direction of your left foot, you don't have to hold it. You might have your hands on the floor, or maybe you're holding onto the ankle or the shin. Just do what works best for you. Now relax your neck, tuck chin to chest. Direct some nice deep breaths into the back of your body. Well done. One more deep breath in. And then exhale, rise up, reach up through the fingertips. Lower the hands down. Well done. Let's take all of that to the second side. So the right leg extends out in front. Bend your left knee, draw it toward the chest. You might be holding onto the outer edges of the foot and just lifting the heel up in line with the knee. But if you've got more space in the hamstring, reach through the heel and lengthen through the leg a little bit further. Gently draw the leg slightly closer towards you. Toes on both feet are super active here. Spread them wide. Good. Bend the left knee, sole of the foot to the floor on the outer edge of the right leg as we move into Ardha Matsyendrasana. Sitting up nice and tall, sweep the right arm up toward the sky and begin to take your twist. So you may be hooking the right elbow, making a stop sign. If you have the bind in your practice, feel free to take it if it's there for you this morning. Don't worry if it's not. Just moving into the spaces that feel good for you. Listening to the body, working with it rather than against it. Good. Spiral yourself to face the front. So we're taking either Janu Shirshasana, sole of the foot to top of thigh, or you're coming into your half lotus. Inhale, reach up through your arms, and exhale, forward fold. Hold on wherever you can. And just breathe into the opening of the back of your right leg. Feel your hamstring lengthen. And remember that the muscles work in opposition here, so if you draw up through your right kneecap, you're giving your right hamstring more space to release into. Coupled with that deep and long exhale, good. Breathe in, reach up through the arms. Exhale, lower the hands down. Let's bring the soles of the feet flat to the floor and take a little bit of time here just to roll down onto your back. Slowly but surely. And once you get all the way down, hug both knees into the chest and just take a gentle rock left to right. Allow the breath to move back to its most natural rhythm here. Allow your energy to settle. Taking it into happy baby. So the soles of the feet come almost like you're standing on the ceiling. You're either holding onto the backs of the thighs, or maybe you're reaching up to hold on to the outer edges of your feet. And then you have the option just here to sway gently from left to right if that feels good. Otherwise, keeping it static. Lick your lips to relax your jaw. Feel the shoulders grounded heavy down into the mat. And then finally heading into our relaxation, Shavasana. So if you have any discomfort in low back, you might like to take Supta Baddha Konasana with the soles of the feet together and the knees wide. Otherwise, lengthen your legs out along the floor. You might want to have both hands on your chest, both hands on your belly, or maybe the arms down by the side body. Make sure that you're comfortable. Finding your way into stillness. Let go of the physical body now. Here there is nothing to do but soften and yield. Release, knowing that you are safe. You are held. Surrender, knowing that you are a small but significant part of a bigger picture. So if you've got a little more time this morning just to soak up your Shavasana for slightly longer, then please feel free to stay exactly as you are. But if you do need to be making your way, just start by deepening your breath. Draw your attention into your hands and your feet. When it feels right to reawaken the body, just begin by taking little movements through your fingers and your toes. And perhaps then moving on to revolving through the ankles and the wrists. And eventually taking a full body stretch, arms coming up over the head. On an out breath, allow your knees to travel into the chest, roll yourself over to one side, just pause there for a moment. And finally, making your way up into a comfortable seat. Take your hands to prayer position at your heart center, bow your chin toward the chest. Take a moment here to seal the energy of your practice, to harness all of the incredible energy that you've created from this practice today. If you'd like to join me for Om, take a nice big breath in through your nose. Bringing the prayer hands up to the space between your eyebrows, lengthen up nice and tall. Peace in your thoughts. Prayer hands moving down in front of your lips. Peace in your words. And finally, well done, well done. That wasn't easy. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Sending you all lots of love. Mwah.